After weeks of anticipation, all Formula One teams have finally revealed their cars for the new season, with fans eagerly dissecting every detail of the sleek new designs. However, while the colour schemes and liveries of the 2023 cars are certainly eye-catching, they are just a small part of the puzzle when it comes to performance. So what have we discovered from the car launches, and what can we expect when the season begins? Formula One is always full of surprises, and the 2023 season promises to be no different. After a historic rulebook overhaul last year, all eyes are now on the teams to see how they will fare with their modified machines. While some teams are taking the if it ain't broke, don't fix it approach, others are trying to right the wrongs of the previous season. One such team is Mercedes, who had a less than ideal 2022 season to say the least. Despite their struggles, the team is sticking to their guns and is determined to make their current concept work. Rather than starting from scratch, the team plans to refine their current concept and make the necessary tweaks to get it just right. The team's boss, Toto Wolff, is confident that this approach will pay off in the long run, even if it means a slower start to the season. Mercedes are known for their innovative designs, and this year's W14 is no exception. Although they've made some tweaks to the car, they've decided to keep the unique side pod design that failed them last season. Toto Wolff, the team boss, believes taking risks in the sport is important, and he's still proud of the solutions they put on the car last year. The team has also taken a slightly different approach with their slot gap, incorporating an increased gap at the inner end of the front wing elements to improve the car's aerodynamics. But what's really interesting is the front top wishbone assembly. They've opted for a multi-link design over a simple A-arm wishbone. The design will provide a larger tyre contact patch in slower corners, giving the car better stability and grip. The W14 also features a similar pushrod layout to last year's car, but the rear leg is a little lower. This could mean that they've gone for a multi-link front-top wishbone assembly, which is an exciting prospect for Mercedes fans. While the team is confident that the new design will give them a competitive edge, they've acknowledged that there's still room for improvement. Mercedes has also stated that their side pod design is likely to change as the season progresses when they release their package upgrades. All eyes will be on the team as they continue to build on their concepts and strive for success in the 2023 season. In addition, Mercedes appear to have updated their cooling system and placed the entire outlet higher up. This will clear a passage beneath the suspension elements and improve the flow into the Coke bottle region. But that isn't all. The Silver Arrows have taken it a step further. They have added cooling gills on the side pod's upper surface and the engine cover shelf. These can be amended to suit the conditions of each race. You're enjoying this video, right? You definitely don't want to miss out on other amazing videos, so all you have to do is hit the subscription button. It's that easy. Thanks for doing that. Let's move on. Let's talk about Ferrari. It's not often that a team with 12 pole positions in a season doesn't end up winning the championship, but that's exactly what happened to Ferrari in 2022. Despite having a car that was lightning fast in qualifying, reliability issues with their power unit ultimately cost them a shot at the title. However, Ferrari fans can take heart in the fact that the Italian team hasn't strayed too far from their winning formula. The new SF23 looks strikingly similar to last year's car, with tweaks made to the chassis and improvements to the power unit's reliability. After a winter of hard work, the team believes they can finally unleash the full potential of their power unit once again. Ferrari must hope that this, in combination with the tweaks they have made to the chassis, will be enough to fight with Red Bull for rather longer than was the case in 2022. The car's front lower corner of the side pods is scalloped away, suggesting that there has been some clever radiator area manipulation, allowing the car to perform at its peak. The car features a sunken depression at the top of the side pods, which is specifically designed to extract air and channel it towards the rear beam wing. The cooling system is extensively louvered, which looks not only fantastic but also provides efficient airflow. The front wing of the SF23 features slot gap separators that are angled to create vortices, accelerating the airflow toward the floor inlets at the bottom of the side pods. This isn't a new concept. Mercedes produced a wing similar in principle to this last year, but the FIA deemed it non-conformant with the regulations as it judged the primary function of the slot gap separators was aerodynamic, not structural. But will it be deemed acceptable for Ferrari? Only time will tell. The nose of the SF23 is slightly flattened out, giving the car a sleek and aerodynamic profile. Ferrari has gone for a more subtle interpretation of the slot gap separator design, which could potentially provide them with an edge on the track. With all eyes on them, Ferrari confidently sent the SF23 out onto the track, eager to prove themselves to the world. And they didn't disappoint. The Tifosi roared as Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz took to the circuit, putting the car through its paces. From the looks of it, the drivers have every reason to be confident in their new ride. The SF23 seems like a force to be reckoned with, and fans can't wait to see what it can do on race day. Overall, the SF23 is a masterpiece of engineering that combines sleek design with cutting-edge technology. Ferrari will be hoping that this car will be the one to take them to the top of the podium this year, and it certainly has the potential to do so. What about the McLaren 2023 car? McLaren's new MCL60 is essentially a further evolution of a car which, under its MCL36 guise, was quite heavily developed through last season. The team cautions that there is more to come in terms of significant changes, but that the early season car will look much like that which was launched at the McLaren Technology Centre. It is clear from all of the 2023 cars so far launched that the major preoccupation of the teams is in enhancing the ground effect underfloor performance. There is far more lap time to be found from this than the outer bodywork and wings. Any changes to the external geometry of the cars are invariably just a function of attempts at working the underfloor better. So we see that McLaren have created significant space at the lower front of the side pod, probably by rearranging the radiator layout to give more space to fit the vaned inlets for the underfloor tunnels. Last year, the evolution of the McLaren with its bodywork updates at the French and Singapore Grand Prix was in paring away the front of the side pods to create more area to change the geometry of the floor inlets. This process has been continued for the MCL60, and it can be seen that the inlet vanes are, in fact, totally refashioned. The dimensional regulations permit quite a height range for where the inlet can be placed, and in paring away the bottom corner of the side pod, it seems as if McLaren may have been able to change the angle of the inlet. The aim is to give the elusive combination of good downforce with consistent balance through the corner, a challenge that has proved very difficult under the ground effect regulations for many teams, including McLaren. The previous car's front pull rod and rear push rod suspension have been retained. The changes to the shaping of the upper surface of the side pods are probably in response to the revised radiator layouts beneath, which in turn will have been to create the space at the lower front of the pods for the enhanced floor inlets. McLaren are targeting the top 4 in the championship, but cautions that they may not be immediately at that level, as the next planned upgrade evolution will remain in the pipeline until a few races into the season. Speaking of McLaren, team boss Zak Brown has been wanting to return to the top of the grid for years, but that already seems to be out of the question. The English team indicated during their presentation that they were not entirely satisfied and would soon come up with updates. The first kilometre during a Grand Prix weekend have yet to be driven, but McLaren already seems to be on the back foot. Finally, Red Bulls. Red Bull Racing has always been known for making a splash during their car launches, and this year was no different. They flew the entire motorsport newsroom to New York to unveil the newly painted RB18, but not before teasing us with interviews from some of their other athletes. Many eyes will be on Red Bull Racing, which barely hinted at the RB19 during its presentation. The team of Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez had already announced it would only show the livery, but even that required grabbing a magnifying glass to discover the differences from the RB18. Later, like last year, the Austrian racing stable secretly conducted a shakedown at Silverstone. However, there was nothing more than a brief teaser and some very vague images from that. So we'll have to wait until the winter test, where the real RB19 will take to the Bahrain International Circuit. What's your thought about the upgrades that these teams have made to their 2023 car? Let us know in the comments section below. That will be all for today's video. Thanks for staying tuned. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you can always get to watch more amazing videos like this. See you in the next video.